Welcome everybody to another patch notes breakdown. Today we have the 11.3 bonus balance update, and it's the day after April Fool's. If you missed out on the secret potion in Arena, I'm sorry. It was a good time. You can make your characters extra big, extra small, 2D, and flat to the ground. Made for some fun games yesterday, but with some fun games, the next day comes some nerfs, and that's what's going to be all in this bonus balance today. And it's going to start with Bluestone Brooch. It's going to get decreased current health damage from 12% to 10%. I think this was needed. We've seen across the board that ability-based hunters are doing really, really well. In duo lane, in mid lane, Martichoras, Muzen, 2 hunters are going to get nerfed today. I mean, Charon, all doing particularly well. Even Uller has been popping up here and there. All of them use Bluestone. Not too surprised to see this nerf. It's only a slight nerf, but I think it's going to be enough to dissuade some people from picking up these gods. But on to the nerfs. Getting smacked with the hammer first is going to be Charon. After receiving some small nerfs before, getting another set of small nerfs that's a little bit more widespread this time around. Spectral Surge decreased the trail damage, scaling from 8 to 16, now 6 to 14. Decreased the initial hit damage, scaling from 55% to 45%. Along with that, Damnation increased the cooldown from 14 to 12 seconds is what it was. Now it's going to be 16 to 14, so a full 2 seconds on that. And then Swift Voyage decreased the damage, 80 scaling to 280 is what it was. Now it's going to be 65 to 265. And I already thought Charon's nerf before felt pretty good. Like, I'd known some people that play Charon and was like, wow, it doesn't feel like he does as much. And I think this might be almost overtuned, and I'm afraid we might just not see him at all. The Boatman might take a spill here. And that's a little sad, but Charon going to be a little bit out of the meta. I don't expect to see him as often, if at all. I think it's going to be, it's a comfortable pick, then maybe you see it, but beyond that, I don't think we see a lot of Charon. Kuzenbo, not too surprised to see this nerf. I don't know if people realized how good Kuzenbo was based off his cooldowns, but he was pretty good. Shell Spikes is getting a shift where before, every time you got hit, it was 0.5 to 1.3 seconds of reduction, cooldown reduction. Now it's going to be 0.6 to 1, so it's kind of going to flatten out that curve a little bit, make it a little bit more consistent. And then Sumo Slam, which is the big nerf here, is they're increasing the cooldown from 12 seconds to 14 seconds. So getting an extra 2 seconds here. But I think it's important to notice whenever we talk about these cooldown changes, where we're at in the current state of Smite. Sphinx Bauble has become a big purchased ticket here as a ticket item, and now that you can build 50% cooldown and there's no penalty for doing so, we're seeing that happen a lot. So these cooldown adjustments make a bit more sense when you're talking about 50% cooldown instead of the 30 or 40 we were kind of seeing before, where 40 was the cap. Odin, Gungir's Might, they're going to decrease pulse damage, was 45 to 160, now it's 35 to 155, so across the board nerfing that. And then Gungir damage is going to be 60 to 300, now it's going to scale 55 to 275, so really just taking away from some of that late game damage that he was able to bring about. I think this is a pretty good change, and it goes with the change from the previous main patch of 11.3 where they made some changes. Martichoras, Death from Above, is going to get 10 seconds added onto it, now to 110 for that ultimate. I think that's good. That ultimate takes him, literally makes him invulnerable. He can't get hit while he's in the sky. He's sometimes very, very frustrating to play against. I personally think he is better in non-quest than conquest, so not too surprised to see this nerf, but I am excited for the next one, which is a Muzen. This god has been dominant in the EU rank scene. He's been in the NA rank scene too, doing really, really well in ranked and just plays really well. I mean, obviously you get Bluestone. He has this insane poke. He's really, really hard to fight against, especially early. Honey getting increased cooldown from 10 seconds to 12 seconds. Do I think this nerf is enough? And the answer is no. I don't think this nerf is enough. I think he needed more of a nerf than what we're getting here. I think a Muzen is still going to be good, but I understand nerfing just the cooldown on Honey when you just had a nerf to Bluestone. You don't want to just over nerf. So I think this is a good step in the right direction, but I expect that we see more of the B nerfs coming forward. Maybe I'm wrong, but I would expect, just based off of the way this is written out, that they really want to look at Bluestone first and adjust from there. And we saw that with the Martichoras nerf too. Like, Death from Above gets 10 extra seconds. This didn't do anything with damage. So I think this makes sense. Kukulkan is now getting another nerf The dragon wants out of the mid lane, I guess. They want not to have to deal with the objective confirm, and really and truly, slowly but surely, we're getting them out of there. Whirlwind increased cooldown 14 to 10 seconds, now going to be 14 to 12 seconds, so full 2 extra seconds late game. Spirit of the Nine wins. Now goes to a 100-second cooldown instead of that 90. Again, remember, a lot of these mages are building 40-50% cooldown, so it's really, at the end of the game, an extra 1 second. But that does play a difference in the grand scheme of things. Thanatos, not a god I was really expecting to get nerfed, but excited to see this nerf. He is very feast or famine, but lately this man's been feasting, especially in my games. So, Son of Death decreased the movement speed from the bonus movement speed buff. So basically you got 10 to 30%. Now you only get 8 to 24%. That's a pretty significant nerf across the board. Hovering Death increased the cooldown from what was 90 seconds. Now it's going to start at 110 and scale down to 90. So make him a little bit less of a menace early game. I'm interested to see how this affects Thanatos players. And do they still just keep picking him up? He is strictly feast or famine. I think these changes were needed. But I'm curious to see how it plays out. The Whale, Bake Kujira, getting some heavy nerfs here, getting hit with the hammer as well, just like Charon. Decreased basic attack damage from 25 to 18, and then increased basic attack damage per level from 1.5 to 1.8. So again, smoothing out that curve a little bit. Rough Waters increased the cooldown from 12 seconds to 14 seconds, and then Twisting Dive decreased dash damage, scaling 80 to 240, now 60 to 240. So we're feeling that in early game. And Bake was one of those gods that we saw build full tank and just did a ton of damage. Am I surprised that this nerf is coming? No. Do I think it's kind of this thing of people needing to learn how to play against Bake is really more the problem? Yes. We don't see him too often. I don't even have the god mastered, so I'm going to have to go master him even after these nerfs. Not looking forward to that, but that's the end of this patch notes. It's really quick and to the point. I hope everybody's doing well. Thanks for coming and checking out another patch notes breakdown. If you enjoy this content, check out the other content on YouTube and on TikTok. You can also go over to twitch.tv/BlazeMcBain and catch a live stream. I'm streaming during the day this week, but normally I'm streaming at night, so come by, check it out. I'll catch y'all later. Bye.